Good morning, everyone out on the World Wide Web and here in Springfield.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are so happy to be here. Everyone's here. We got a full house, and we're excited about today's training. We had a great time last night with the opportunity meeting.
Yes, we did. Did y'all have fun?
Yes.
Did you learn something?
Yes.
And you made a new friend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of them.
Good.
We have
That's the
some
point.
giveaways.
We do have some giveaways today.
All right, so the first person who can tell me who that is, raise your hand. Okay, right here in the front.
Rain Spalding.
Rainy Spalding, our diamond upline.
Yes.
You're going to get a prize.
Yes, you may go pick something from the table.
Okay. So before we start, once you start with a prayer, and then we're going to have Rainey say a little word to the people here in Springfield.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you again for this weekend and for this special time with our Plexus family here in Springfield. Lord, I just ask that you give us some great learning time together, again, to open our eyes, inspire us as we move forward into 2015 and all that you have called us to with our businesses. In Jesus' holy name, amen.
Amen. All right, so let's hear from Rainey.
Hey Springfield, Missouri, my name is Rainey Spalding and I am your diamond upline with Plexus Worldwide. You are led by an incredible leader in Elizabeth Brown, and let's not forget that dynamic duo of Jen and Phil Mango. We are seeing such exciting things out of Springfield, Missouri, and I want you to know how proud I am of you. So keep it up. Work your business in a consistent way. Continue to follow up with your customers and your ambassadors, and believe in our wonderful products. They do change lives, and aren't we blessed that we get to be a part of that? Go Plexus and go Springfield, Missouri.
All right, cool.
And she really did. She wanted to make this video because she appreciates each and every one of you. And as you guys will see, as you grow your own teams, you will realize that you cannot do this without the support of the people that are coming alongside you in this. And we feel that way, and she very much feels that way. She is getting married this coming Saturday, and it's very exciting. She'll be Rainey Anderson, and we've spent a lot of time with Steve, her husband, and they are genuine. Such genuine, kind, and caring people, and really are all in. So she wanted us to send well wishes to you guys. Okay, so we're going to get going, and Phil's a real big stickler about me sticking to agenda, so I have an agenda here. Will somebody turn on the lights, please, for me? Because I really don't want it dark, and I don't.
I'm working on this. We just keep going. You're good.
Thank you. And if it goes dark, oh, you're so good. Thank you, Cassandra. We're going to talk a little bit about at every meeting that we have for our team, we talk about announcements and stats. And so we look back at the month prior. For December, Team Mango added 44 new ambassadors, and we had a little over $116,000 in PV, which meant that
Very good job. Very good job.
for December, and thinking about all the competition that dollars go to. I will tell you that it was exciting to hear on the call with Alec and Charles that as of the 19th of January, sales were up 31% from December 19th to January 19th.
Why is that significant?
Who knows? Let's give a prize. Why would that be a good thing for us that sales are up 31%? Amy?
Pay points.
Pay points, that's right. Help yourself to a prize. So pay points when you first are starting off, pay points are like, if you have 3 ambassadors, you have about 15 pay points. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. It's a nice little buffer on your check. When you go into a month with 1,500 of those points, that changes drastically when it's 10 cents off. 10 cents higher or 10 cents lower. So be aware of that. Work toward your team. I love Stephanie has done a really good job. Several of you, I'm not just saying just Stephanie's doing that, but encourage your teams to get to 500. $500 in sales is about 3 to 5 customers. And that's even less if you're purchasing for yourself or your family. Y'all will probably hit 500 well before you hit a customer, right?
Right.
We do too. We have 5 people in our house on Slim every day. So it's really easy. It's a great gift to you that you get that 25%. You give yourself a raise, and you're helping the pay point. Because guys, if everybody in the company was doing $500, what would our pay point be though? Around
A lot.
over
$6.
It would be over
Wow.
$6.
It's for every,
$6 a pay point.
yeah.
Can you imagine that?
It's $1.78 per 100 essentially. So it's actually it'd be more than that. It'd be
We're being
close to
conservative.
$7 a pay point. Yeah.
Yes. So great job. We're on pace to go well over that this month in terms of ambassadors and sales. And so that's exciting. Again, that kind of not just about the numbers from an ambassador standpoint, but thinking about the number of lives that we are impacting and changing with that information and those numbers. Contest updates. Who knows what contest is going on with corporate right now? Who can tell me about the corporate contest? Yes.
It's for convention. You get a certain number of points per customer, per ambassador, and then you win different prizes based on what points you get. And most of us are working for the travel voucher, which
Yes,
is 1,600 points.
How many points is it?
1,600.
Listen to her. She's got all the details
You know
down.
what my goal is.
I
want
know.
that airplane ticket
That's
reversed.
right. That's right.
And here's the great thing about the travel voucher. Plexus actually pays you in a Friday check the $300. So it's not a voucher. You can use $300 for wherever you want. So if you're driving, you get the $300. If you fly, you get the $300. So there's some flexibility there, and I love the way that Plexus does it. Just gives it to you in your Friday check.
Help yourself to a prize, man. And yes, so the cool thing too, and who got a contest update this week? Anybody get a contest update
Everyone did
email?
on Wednesday.
On Wednesdays, they come out every Wednesday. It is a great short-term little incentive for you with your business. You know, if you can break down, and we were talking at breakfast this morning about, well, I want this then. I want by the end of the year, I want to see this happen. Sometimes it's hard to get those big goals accomplished when we don't have a systematic way of approaching it. This is perfect. You want the travel voucher, it's 1,600 points. You figure out, okay, over the next, Shelley, do you know how many weeks we have? Because you probably already do.
No,
Okay, Phil usually figures it out in the next week or two. He'll be like, okay, so we have 12 weeks or 15 weeks to get you to this point. Then we know that we want to see this many points across the board. And it doesn't, I want to encourage you that it doesn't turn people into a number sign or a coin, that's all that Grease had to say. It doesn't turn people into a point so that their little head is like, you're 10 points for me and you're 10 points for me. But what it does is it keeps you accountable to your business, that if I want to get that travel voucher, then I have to be plugging away every day at finding a new preferred customer, at building my team, at sharing the opportunity. So I know for me, each contest has incented me. I started, I told you guys last night in July of 2013, the contest for Leaders Retreat, which we're not earning this time, but you could earn 600 points by the end of by September 15th. And I was able to earn 640 points. And I earned that trip from July to September very quickly. You certainly can do this. And for some of us, if that's a motivator for you, and sometimes not talking to strangers is not the motivator, remember that. Put that on your fridge. Print off the convention contest schedule so you know what it looks like, and then keep track of your points and celebrate that. And for
And
your
more importantly,
team,
make sure your team knows how those points work and how they can earn those trips and whatnot.
right? And who knows? Yes.
It was 16 weeks from yesterday.
Okay.
So
There you go. She's like, I gotta know.
Right now.
Awesome. Awesome. So 16 weeks, guys, to earn points. That is another thing that I love about our company is that they don't dangle some big prize and say, okay, you got 4 weeks to do it. They really give us ample time to achieve that because they honestly want to see all of us do that. And
Who knows the phrase, leaders are, who can finish that phrase?
that's really open-ended.
So,
It's very specific.
leaders are made at convention, made at major events.
Close, you're right.
Very
Leaders
good.
are born at convention.
Yeah.
So if you go to convention, I can tell you the people that we've met from around the country that we've gotten to know through Plexus have attended every event, and they climb and climb and climb. So,
Right. It's well worth it.
All right.
And convention is June 4th through 7th. Want to make sure y'all know that. And the tickets right now are $79 to register. You can earn that back with that point contest to get that reimbursed. And I will tell you, last year, starting in probably by March, every time they offered tickets for convention, they sold out. So don't have it on your list to do, but we wishy-washy enough and then regret that you didn't get a ticket. And there'll be multiple opportunities to get one, but the sooner
Step
you
in
do, the
faith,
better.
yep.
Yeah, step in faith. All right, who knows for Team Mango what the Sapphire contest is? We haven't talked about it a whole lot, so.
okay.
Okay, so it's our job to kind of educate you on this. What is it, Phil?
I would like you to explain the Sapphire contest.
So not detail oriented. So Rainey came to Crede, Heather Rice, and myself at the end of the year and said, I want to help incent your teams to get all 3 of you to Sapphire this next year. And she said the way that I would like to do that is to help do a matching donation or prize when you reach Sapphire. And so she asked all of us, and we collectively came up with that. And it's kind of like a contest with all of us. So y'all need to help me out a little bit. Is that when we hit Sapphire, the person that has added the most people to their team individually will be chosen as the winner. And so when I hit Sapphire, whoever that is on our team, all levels, they will win $500 from me. And then because Crede is my upline, she will match that $500. So the minute I turn Sapphire, someone on our team is going to get $1,000. So what does that mean? That means that y'all need to recruit. And the recruiting, I think I have to go back to my notes and I'll post it on our team page so y'all know. But we're retroactive back to right around, I think it was the 1st of the year.
Yeah, it was definitely the first, might have been even earlier.
Right, it might have been the week before, the last week of December. So that's an exciting thing to do. If you're a go-getter and you already have plans to be something and do something and rank by convention, imagine having that extra $1,000. That would be nice, 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 nice. Okay, our next training for Team Mango is February 7th, and that will be in State College, Pennsylvania. And so we will be doing a Google Hangout for
Just
those
like
of you that
this.
don't come to State College with us. Anybody want to
Anyone
come
wanna
to
come?
freezing
The
snow,
weather here is a
blizzard?
little colder there.
Yeah, we've been thoroughly prepared that it's going to be freezing, freezing, freezing.
We're excited to be going.
We're very excited about going. And then Super Saturday. Who attended a Super Saturday in this room? Raise your hand. All right, I want to hear from Amy. What did you get from Super Saturday that you did not know prior?
What was one takeaway?
Yeah.
I'm on the spot.
You are on the spot. Okay, Maria, you have one yet? Do you have a takeaway you want to share? Shelly?
Like a quote or something?
Okay,
No, just
whatever,
something
whatever
that you
stood out
learned
to
that
you.
you took away that, oh, I'm going to implement this in my business. This was something good.
Okay, the big thing that really stood out to me was, I went into the convention thinking that everybody's gonna be a certain type, certain kind of person. And I was kind of shooting it all down from there. Because I was thinking, okay, I have to be a certain size, I have to be a certain kind of person, certain type of bubbly person to be able to do that. When I walked in and there was every person, a huge spectrum of people, different sizes, looks, types, didn't matter. And we're all there for one focus.
Right, awesome.
That's great. So, and just make sure our studio audience at home, and those of you watching in your PJs, great point that Marie just made was that everyone didn't look like me at convention, which is shocking. And they're all different shapes, sizes, colors, economic backgrounds. Everyone, I'm a hot mess already this morning. But it was all one focus and one purpose, but everyone looked differently. That's awesome. I love that. So there's a chance I can be a diamond looking like this. Not like this.
You know what we love is, and it's really true, is that so many people come into this for weight loss that the very common thing that I get is from people they're like, well, not everyone that is there is in shape. And I'm like, the whole point is that it's not about perfection. And it really is about health. And so when you go and you see the picture of that living and walking, it's a really refreshing feeling. And it makes you feel like I can do this no matter what. Because we all want to tend to hide our the things that are a challenge for us and our imperfections. And really when you can open yourself and be who you are genuinely and still make an impact and a difference, it's a powerful thing. Shelly, well, still letting Amy think.
I'm a very visual person, so when they did that interactive thing where they chose 2 people and they split the audience in half, one person was over here and one person was over here, and they were supposed to touch 2 people, and then those 2 people were supposed to touch 2 people.
We didn't do that.
This side over here just kept going, and this side over here, Deborah would say stop, and they had to stop, and they did this for about 90 seconds, and this side had about 200 to 300 people on their team in 90 seconds, and this side only had about 50 because she stopped them twice. And so it was a momentum thing that we were supposed to get. If you just keep and never stop, you get this whole side of the room done in like 3 minutes, and the other team will
Just
just
fizzled out, right?
be like at 10%.
Sorry, that's on my text. Sorry.
That's awesome.
That's a
It
great
was a
visual.
great
We didn't do
visual.
that. We didn't do that in Dallas, and that was awesome. We need to do that some other time. But wow. I'm not
No
Okay. Amy, anything else you want to share?
It's okay.
No, we want to hear.
I don't really, I mean, it was a lot to absorb,
Okay.
but everything was wonderful and meeting all the people, like they said, and the visuals, and just, I don't know, I took tons of notes though, so.
Good. I'm
Good.
glad.
Notes are great. And you know, the thing that we have in a year and a half walk away with, we love the income. The income's fantastic. But the relationships and the people that we have come in contact with, the 900 plus people on our team that we either had a loose connection or a decent connection or no connection with prior to, now that we have these lasting relationships, now that we've come to Springfield and we've gotten to hug some necks and meet some people that we are going to be walking through life with forever. I'm not an emotional guy, but I can get emotional thinking about how great that Plexus is that can make that connection.
I lost
So-
my notes. Sorry.
You lost my
I
notes.
lost it. And this was given out at all the Super Saturdays. This is a great tool. I've had lots of people ask me so far, and I don't have any information yet on when they will be available, but they will be available to us in the near future. And it's just another great way of really making sure that we're streamlining the information so that everyone is getting the same kind of training. And then obviously what you do with it and how you interact with it will determine ultimately your success. But this has got our products on 2 pages, our comp plan on 2 pages, successful business tips, how to connect with people, common objections that you're going to get. So this is like a 60-page quick read full of a lot of meat that will serve as a great reference and a resource for you and your business. So be watching for these and then take advantage of when they're offered, because I do feel like it was a valuable resource.
Okay.
All right. We talked about that. Circle Maker. I know I've talked to a couple of you individually about reading that. Who in the room's read it?
Reading.
Reading
Good.
it right now. Anyone want to share what they've kind of gleaned from the Circle Maker so far?
Why don't you give a little synopsis
I
of
didn't
what?
bring the book, but basically it's a book written by Mark Batterson. It is an excellent read in terms of, and I don't think you just have to be a believer in Jesus Christ to read it, to be able to apply it to your life and to your business, but to understand that there really is power in your words, and when you are determined, and the word that I'm looking for is escaping me, really just beyond specific, when you're very diligent at like putting your focus and focus on something very specifically that's in your heart. A lot of times those things that are at the deepest part of your heart are the hardest to come out and hardest to vocalize or hardest to really try to even visualize, because you think it's so big beyond my current circumstance. And this book kind of walks you through how biblically the Lord has shown us in the Bible over and over and over again. And then he has himself walked this principle out, that when you put it before the Lord and you're specific and you literally draw a circle or walk a circle around a certain situation, a circumstance, a piece of land, your business plan, whatever it might be, that the Lord shows up. We get in the way a lot of times with timing, because we think, well, we put a time limit on it, but the Lord does it. So I would encourage you to read it. Again, we're still in January. We're still at the beginning of this year. We're still in that time where you can totally take, I would encourage you to take some quiet time, pull yourself aside, either yourself by yourself or with your spouse, even with your family, and think about the year. Dream big, visualize it, make a vision board if you can do that. If you haven't done that, do that. Write out some handwritten goals. Go lay your hands on some property or whatever it is that you feel like is your promise, and start walking that and living that out in their dreams.
Yeah, I think we are very big proponents of, in December, we reflect on our entire year and how the Lord has been good and the things that we fell short. And we then wipe that clean and say, what are we believing for in 2015? And I can tell you that what he really laid upon us is that we feel there is an acceleration about to happen in our team and that there are some specific people who in this room are going to be jewels, gems and jewels in Plexus, and that your income and your health are going to be accelerated in a whole new way, something you couldn't even dream was possible a year ago. So cling on to that, hold on to that, and when in the lowest of lows, hold on to that and receive it and walk in it.
For sure.
Are you ready to do some meat?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we do training, which we try and do every month, and it's always online, so if you miss this, you're not in Dallas, you can see this kind of training. We have a real simple concept. If you're going to come eat with us, you're going to get some meat. You're going to get some protein. You're going to get fed. And so we never want to, we want to be very conscious of people's time and appreciate that you've invested that. So we're going to always invest in you. So Jen's been working really diligently on this topic, and I'm really excited for her to. Am I
You're like overselling. Stop overselling.
But this is some good meat from someone who's been doing this for 18 months, and some lessons that you've learned, and things that you know now that you wish you knew then. So take your notes and go for it, babe.
And I really debated doing a handout for y'all, but sometimes I know that I absorb better when it's not laid out for me and I have to actually take notes. So I'm forcing myself to take notes today. For those of you, I want to kind of do because I know for most of you how long you've been in the business, but let's say how many of you have been in with Plexus longer than 6 months? So, right. How about 3 months? So most everybody is like in the 6 months or less, or 3 months or less, really, honestly. And there's been significant growth in this team, or honestly, we wouldn't have come, right? we would love to be able to, and we will be doing that. But what I thought about most was looking back over the last 18 months and thinking about where I was in that 3 to 6 month period in my own business. And Phil had just joined me about the 3rd month, like I talked about the other night, or last night. And then within those first 6 months, I had a lot of growth. But what I started experiencing between that 3rd and 6th month was that not everybody was as excited about Plexus as I was. Not everybody was as fully invested in Plexus as I was. And Phil had warned me the day that I signed up and I started this and I started having some early success. He goes, baby, not everyone is you. So don't get too upset or don't let that stop you, because not everybody's going to be you. And oh, yeah, okay, whatever. And I really didn't think about what that meant or the ramifications of that over the course of my career. But very quickly, in my 3rd to 6th month, I started seeing white lines. Who loves white lines in this room? Who hates white lines in this room? Who can get psychologically messed up with white lines, right?
What's a white line?
A white line, for those of you who don't know, is when you are a active Plexus ambassador. When you first sign up, what color are you? You're green. You're in your glory month, your green glory month, which is your grace month. So when you sign up as a green ambassador, you don't have to turn points for your sponsor, but you've purchased a welcome pack, hopefully, and you have your backup order on, so you know you're starting your business. And then what's a blue line?
Turning points.
You love blue. That means that they're an ambassador in your downline who's active, they're not in their first month, but they're an active or current ambassador they're going to turn points for you. That means they have their backup order on. So even if they're sitting at a 0 all month, by the 25th, what happens?
Their auto ship.
Their auto ship comes out, and if it's not on the 25th, we do have some 28thers. But by the 28th of the month, then you know that you're either going to have 5 points if they're your levels 1 through 3. You're going to have 4 points if they're level 4, so on and so forth down to the 7th level. So you can kind of determine where you're at. So those of you who are gold, who are working towards senior gold, how many points do you have for senior gold? 250. And at 250 points, you get how much of it is your bonus?
350.
350 added to your next check. So I remember working towards that senior gold, really watching the points and thinking, okay, there's about 150 people on my team. 150 times 5. Oh, I should be a Ruby almost. But there were these little ugly things called white lines that started happening because somebody had tried product for one month and then decided, no, I can't afford it the next month. Because maybe that was the way that I had really recruited them as an ambassador, is that I said, just sign up and try it. And then if you don't like it, you can just turn your auto ship off. And then there were those people that had done it for 3 months, but they had not seen the results that they had expected in 3 months. And they were frustrated and they said, I'm going to take a break and maybe I'll come back. And those were people that were maybes, but I didn't really know what was going to happen. So when I was thinking about coming here to see you, I was trying to remember and imagine what I felt like at that point when I was like, okay, I've had all this success, relative success, and yet now I feel like it's like, and maybe we're going a little bit backwards, and there would be one added here and one added there, but then I would see 2 white lines. And so it was like I was kept hitting this wall. And I really started to get a little bit in my head. Who's gotten in their head about their business? It's really easy to do. At this point, guys, and you might be a little shocked about this, I don't really get into my back office very often and check, because I know that it can kind of mess with my mind if I start looking at blue lines, green lines, white lines. When did they join? Who's going to go inactive this month? Who's not? Who's up for renewal? Do I need to call them and tell them that they've got to pay another $34.95? And I do manage my level ones. I think it's very important. You never let go of your level ones. But those things that are really outside of my control, you know, Rhonda's level 3s are not my responsibility. They're her responsibility. I'm there to overshadow and see, and if she needs my help to jump in, then I'll jump in. But as a rule, we're duplicating our processes and our abilities, so we're going to worry about that. So I wanted to talk today, and that was a long time to get to that, and I've talked about some of those points, but what I know now that I wish I had known then. And so hopefully I can offer you some encouragement and some things, maybe from some lessons that I kind of had to learn the hard way that you won't have to go through as your business continues, because who sees this as your long-term your long-term passion in your business? So guess what? It's not always going to be roses. It's not always going to be pink Plexus perfect. There's going to be some things that you go through that are yucky. Do we throw out the baby with the bathwater? No. Sometimes we have to reshift our thinking. We have to go, don't answer that. But we have to kind of reset our focus and our priorities and realize, you know, this is kind of graphic, but I heard this on a training call that I about 6 months ago, and it really helped me. When you go on a walk in your neighborhood or at a park, if an animal has done their business on the sidewalk in front of you, do you stop and turn around? Or do you just see it, you're kind of grossed out, you turn away and you walk around it? A lot of times in our business, we see something happen and somebody kind of does something wrong, or we have a setback and we go, oh, no, I got to turn around and go the other way. You don't do that when you're on God's path for your life, right? You look at it, you face it as it is, maybe you have to clean it up and move on. And so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so the biggest thing I would say, and hopefully who in this room posts on a regular basis on Facebook? Almost everyone. The earlier you start posting, the faster your business will grow. I believe in this with all of my heart. Even with the Facebook changes, more exposure equals more sales and more opportunities for ambassadors. No matter what, even if you are not getting a response from someone, people are watching. I have people now, 19 months into my business, that says, I've watched your posts for month after month after month. Can you send me some information? They've never commented. They've never liked anything. They weren't even on my radar, but they're watching. Everyone's journey is different. This is a really, really, really hard one for women, I think more so than men, but for all of us, it can be a challenge to compare yourself, especially if, even I know for my own downline, Jen got to Emerald in 10 months. That should be my plan. I should get to Emerald in 10 months. Not necessarily the case. God has a purpose and a plan for you, and every single person's plan and journey is different, and the timeline is different. For me, my upline with Rainey, watching Rainey, she was like, when I met with her 2 months in, she goes, you are on the same trajectory that I am. Your business will probably grow the same way mine is. Well, then that would have meant at a year, 12 months in, I would have been a diamond, because she was a diamond in 13 months. So I should have expected that. If I set myself up to expect that, guess what happens when month 13 comes around? Well, I'm not a diamond. I'm an emerald. I should just quit, right? No. Emerald is a great place to be stuck. So everybody's journey is different. When I started, I thought it was all about weight loss, or I was going to make it all about weight loss because that was my own goal for myself. We've talked a lot about that it's not about weight loss. If you can set the expectation up with your customers and your potential ambassadors that it really isn't about weight loss, and weight loss is just maybe a side effect that comes out of all this, that's a really great perk, your business will have more sustainability. So we should be selling more of the triplex and talking about health and talking about Candida. And that is going to require education for yourself, because you can't tell somebody, gosh, this has been great for Candida. And then when they go, well, what's Candida? Well, you're going to have to put some knowledge behind the words that you speak. You don't have to know everything about everything, but you need to know a little bit about a lot so that you can at least answer the question and not look like a fool, so that you establish credibility. I'm the next one. I know that some of y'all have dealt with this as an issue. Friends in their business are a good thing, and there's no competition. I know that we've done videos on this and we've talked about this. It's really hard, and sometimes it's hard to avoid. But if you really honestly can step away from, take yourself out of the picture and say, if I continue to share and talk to people, it doesn't matter if I sign up and the girl next to me at my office signs up and we both have a mutual friend and she decides to go with my mutual friend and not me, I cannot let that stop me. I can't let that create a division with me and my friend, or the friend that purchases, because if you do, you're just cutting off your own face, your nose, right? You are going to fall flat because you're going to get so wrapped up in the anger and the resentment of, well, that should have been my sale. And I can't tell y'all how many times I had people that I had shared information with, and then I followed up and they're like, well, no. And then 2 months later, I found out they were on somebody else's team. Or the next week I saw them sign up, well, being welcomed on another person's team. It hurts. And it's okay to say that it hurts, because it's like, oh, and especially at the beginning, it's so hard because every single sale and every single ambassador seems like your business is hinging on that one person. It really isn't. I promise you, God has redeemed for me over and over and over. Y'all know the video that Phil and I did a couple months ago, and I have on like a toboggan. I looked ridiculous, but we did this video on not stealing other people's customers or ambassadors. I had a girl that I did not even know was having an issue send me a long apology saying, I am so sorry. Every time I'm around you, I feel like I can't even make eye contact with you. I haven't even spoken to you in months, and I feel horrible, but I know that there was a person that I had shared Plexus with that had bought from me for 1 month. She had stopped, and then this other person had come in, knew that she had bought from me, and she went ahead and signed her up as her ambassador under her. And she's like, it has been eating me alive, and I am so sorry. Will you forgive me? It wasn't on me. I had known about the situation months before, and it kind of irritated me, but then I just let it go. But it was stopping this girl in her tracks with her business. She wasn't even able to enjoy trainings and things because when we were in the same room, she felt like that was all she was thinking about. And so that, I don't want y'all to be on that side of it. It's not worth it, because I can tell you, too, when you start your business and somebody's all on your face, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I know this person, and I have this, my friend's got a friend at a doctor's office, and you see all this potential, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's the mothership for my business. Y'all have all done it, because I've done it, right? And you're like, when that person signs up, I am gonna be like, and I can tell you time and time and time again that a lot of people talk and there's no action behind their words. And oftentimes when people circumvent you and go around and don't follow an ethical course in getting to their business, that usually is a dead end. So you can't worry about it. I think we've done enough on that. I thought that I had to wait for answers before I could talk to people. How many of y'all have felt like I need to study, I need to learn all I can learn before I can start sharing? And I talked a little bit, when you're in a conversation, you want to make sure that you know enough about Candida when you bring up the word if somebody asks you. But you really don't need to use that as a hindrance. You need ownership of your business immediately, start sharing, and then be vulnerable to say, you know what, that is a great question, but I don't have that answer right now, but I'm going to get back to you with that information as quickly as possible. So don't wait. I don't have to know everything about everything that I sell. That kind of goes along with all of it. You don't need to be an expert, but you do need to know where to look. Where's some great resources that we have to access for our businesses? Y'all just yell it out.
Any of our team pages are great.
The team pages. Yes, awesome. We have files on the team pages as well as asking a question to other team members. Where else can you get information?
Plexus Power Tools.
Plexus Power Tools is a fabulous resource. It's $10. $10 unfortunately stops a lot of people in their tracks for a year, but it is well worth it. They are all duplicatable, all compliance approved materials that you can use, and somebody else has written the words for you, so you can just use that. It's duplicatable. It's awesome. PlexusPowerTools.com, and it's updated on a continual basis, and we get an email every time it's updated. This was my Bible when I first started my business. I carried a catalog with me in my car, and I kept a catalog on my kitchen counter so that every time I was talking to someone over the phone or via email, I had it readily available. When you don't know what to say, what's Plexus X Factor? Well, I could just turn to this page and literally read this. Well, it's a turbocharged daily vitamin with an antioxidant. So it gives you some words so that you don't get stuck. And then it also has the pricing. So you can go through the pricing options like we did last night with Bill for the fourth option. Baby, you're usually up here with me. You need to be back up here.
You're flowing and going, girl. Keep going.
I don't need meetings. That's what I said at the beginning. I know even when I recruited Elizabeth, she was like, well, should I like go to some meetings or have some fairs or do some parties? I was like, you can do whatever you want, but I don't do this. Eat my words, right? Eat my words. Meetings make money. Why do meetings make money?
Draws more people in.
It draws people interest. It gets them in, yeah.
How many people were here last night? Over 60?
Over 60 people.
Was this room like energetic? Did y'all feel like a different, I mean, it was.
Does it solidify belief when there's people in the room that believe the same way you do, that have the same goals, Maria?
To me, it kind of validates that this is a real thing, it's a real passion.
Right.
When you have people come and we all take time out of our busy day to get here and then bring guests, and it's like, oh, this really is a real thing. We're going toward this.
It does.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, we take for granted, I think, sometimes that we're in Dallas where there's 44 other jewels. And so for us, it's like, oh, of course this is real and tangible. But when you all are,
there's a meeting every week to go to.
But when you all are in different pockets where you might be the only person in the whole town that's representing Plexus, that's an island, and you can feel disconnected and have that, gosh, is this real? I mean, I see stuff online, but it's not, I can't taste it, touch it, smell it, feel it. So that's why these meetings are so important, and so important for you all to start having them and encouraging people to come to them so they can have that same sort of momentum.
And my next point was I should wait. I was going to wait to have a meeting when I started having a bigger team. I think our first meeting was at La Madeleine, and we had 6 people show up. And I was so nervous. I was like, what are we going to talk about? And
Your first opportunity meeting?
Yeah, our first opportunity meeting, we had one person. Did the whole presentation for one person. That person's on our team now. But you don't need to wait. You can have a meeting with one person. You can have a meeting with a team of 3. You can have a meeting anywhere. I promise you, the sooner you start doing them, the sooner they're going to grow to this size and beyond. I know y'all have done some great meetings, and you can see the benefit that every time you have a meeting, it makes you money, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's just power in that. I had this belief that I needed to give out a sample pack or a sample to every single person before they would buy. And for a lot of times, I offered samples of the drink so they could taste it, just a little sip. That's really all they need. A lot of situations don't lend it to where you can just give somebody a Dixie cup with pink drink in it. But we were spending a lot of money on samples, and I tell my team always, do not spend the money if you don't have it on the samples. But when you do have the money to reinvest, either charge for them. We give them away now, but we're at a certain level where we feel like we can, but we don't give them away just willy-nilly. There is value in creating a situation for somebody to take ownership to purchase that, because they're more likely to take the product if they purchased it from you than if you've just given it to them for free. If they really need to know if they're going to have a reaction to it or taste, they're real sensitive to taste, give them a single stick. Don't give them a free day. Anything else on that?
Yeah, I would say that again, I'm cheap. When we were giving out a sample, that was $3 to me. So if I was giving you a sample or even 3, that was $10 essentially. So I would look at it as this: if I'm giving this to you, at a minimum, I am owed feedback.
Yeah, so we set expectations.
Expectation. So I set the expectation up front. I'm going to give you 3. you're gonna take it, you're gonna take this at the, in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever you think. At the end of the 3 days, I want you to tell me how you feel, what you thought of the taste. That's the minimum obligation I expect from you. And what's everyone gonna say? Oh, well, of course I'll tell you, of course. You want them to give you that feedback and assurance that they will try it, and they owe it to you to give you that sort of feedback.
Right. If I took you to a cup of coffee, you would give me an hour worth of conversation. So if I call you, even if you don't have anything good to say about it, please be courteous enough to just give me some feedback.
Right.
So you take the onus off of them that way. We talked about this also at breakfast. I prejudged whether or not someone needed our products, right? And this was kind of bad too, because when we first started Plexus, we were so weight loss focused with Plexus that anytime my 8-year-old was anywhere where somebody looked like they needed to lose weight, she'd be like, "They need to use Plexus, Mom." I'd like,
She can't whisper.
no, she doesn't
Or she's
whisper.
that loud.
Yeah. And so it was like, or they would go, "Plexus." So we had to kind of do some parenting there with that and understand that we cannot prejudge people. We can't see pain a lot of times written all over people's faces, right? There are a lot of people that are hurting, that are tired, that don't have any energy, that have chronic issues that are not weight related. So don't make the assumption just because somebody looks fit or looks trim that they don't or would not benefit from our products. And a lot of times if you offer somebody something and they might have that prejudgment, "Oh, I've seen your post, I don't need to lose any weight." Well, did you realize it's an open opportunity to share? Do you deal with chronic pain? Do you know somebody that has diabetes or blood pressure issues or cholesterol issues or autoimmune disease? Open the door and share so that they have a broader understanding as well, that it isn't just a weight loss product. This other assumption is that when people would buy my product, I assumed that they were taking the product. How many of y'all have had a retail customer that maybe signed up and purchased in September, and you check on them in November and they're like, "Yes, I'm taking it. Yeah, it's good." Like, okay, you bought in September, you bought a 30-day supply, so I was just checking to see if you're ready for some more. "Oh no, I've got half a bag." Okay? Time and time again, we hear that. So don't assume that your customers are taking their products. A lot of times you're gonna hear maybe, "Oh, it's just not working for me." Dig in, ask some questions, probe. And again, I touched on this last night. Don't say, "Are you drinking enough water?" Don't ask a yes/no question. Say, "How much water do you think you drink in a day? What are your goals? Are you taking medications?" A lot of times medications will hinder or even cause side effects that maybe are counterbalancing or masking what Plexus is actually doing for them. Ask them about their sleep. How are you sleeping at night? Are you still going to Sonic every afternoon or to Starbucks for coffee? Start probing, and maybe you're going to lead them to find out and help them self-realize that Plexus is really working more so than they thought. Because so many people are just looking for that scale difference. And again, getting people to measure, getting people to weigh. They'll weigh themselves often, they won't measure often. They're just at a place where it's just too hard mentally to kind of face those numbers. But encourage them along the way to do that. And then encourage them in ways to help them be successful. You know what, let's remind them of the 60-day money-back guarantee. Let's try this. Let's change up how you're taking your products. Let's see if we can set a reminder on your phone to see if you're, by 3 o'clock, that if you haven't drank enough water. I deal with a lot of school teachers, and their biggest concern is that they can't drink the water during the school day because then they're in the bathroom all day. Or the BioCleanse. That's really funny because we have in Prosper, which is a little town outside of ours, we have one school that has probably 12 or 13 people that are on Plexus, customers and ambassadors there. And their joke is that when they're running through the hall really fast, it's like, who's taking their BioCleanse this morning? So they're a mess. But make sure that you're offering suggestions along the way as people and reminding them to take their products and telling them Plexus is going to work for you if you work for Plexus. It's not a magic pill and it's not a magic drink. It's just going to help you point you in the right direction to make better decisions. This next one is a big one, was a big one for me. People will disappoint you and won't do what they say they will. And again, I touched on that a little earlier. The people that you want this for the most, or know that this could benefit the most, whether it's for their health or their financial circumstance, We can do all the things and we can talk until we're blue in the face. We can enable them. We can buy their product for them. Sometimes I know a lot of people are guilty of that. We can't make that decision for them to want it bad enough, for them to be successful. And sometimes you can only do what you can do and then you have to let it go. If you don't let it go, it's just kind of like the unforgiveness thing. It will eat at you and actually hinder your business because you get so hyper-focused on the people that it's not doing what you thought it was going to do or that they were going to do with it, that you can't focus on helping the people that are willing and open that haven't come into your life yet because you're so stuck. So try to stay unstuck. And it's a hard thing. And again, I would say here, this is where reading self-help books, reading books about growing your business are going to be crucial, because as you grow your team, you should be growing you. You should be changing along the way. Anything on that, Phil, as you play on your phone?
As I take notes.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I didn't understand this either, that it takes an average of 5 to 8 interactions before you're going to get a yes, a purchase, or a sign up. 1 exposure is not enough. 3 exposures is not enough. How many of y'all have said, I have talked to this person over and over and over, and they're not there yet? And you think it's a no because you thought, I'm done. Emotionally, I've given you all the information. I've sat on the phone and waited for you. I've invited you to a meeting and you've come and you've not done anything. 6 to 8 exposures. And if you think about, I heard from even some of you last night, I watched a post after post after post after post. It was more than 8. So we have to know that people have to have a processing time, and everybody's different. There's going to be some of us, like Shelly, who saw it and signed up. She said, sign me up, let me go. And then there's others of us who buy the product, do it for 2 months. Oh, am I going to jump in? Then they take it. Then they said, well, I'm going to do it another month before I even start my business. Now I'm going to start my business. Oh, I think I'll post now, 3 or 4 months in. So just remember that. It takes a while for most of us to make a decision. Sitting around and waiting for your fence sitters isn't good enough to grow a business. You can't sit and make me a list or make yourself a list and you have to say, I have 5 people that are ready to sign up. They just haven't, so I'm just going to wait because I know they're coming. You have to continue every single day, every single week to pursue new relationships, new opportunities for sharing, and new potentials. This kind of goes along with this too. A no isn't always a no. A no is often a not now. And again, I would say for us along the way with our business, we've seen that. It was really interesting when I turned Emerald in May, we had probably 5 or 6 people join our team in June as a result of seeing the credibility and the sustainability of the financial side of Plexus for us. Once they saw our neighbors, it was funny, we had 2 neighbors that signed up because they suddenly saw Alexis and they were like, oh, you really did get it. You weren't just talking and they were thinking that was some pie in the sky. They were like, okay, I think I want to do this. I know a lot of times, I know probably a lot of you have people that say they can't afford it right now. They want to do it, but as soon as they have the money. So Heather Rice gave this example, and a suggestion on Monday night at our meeting, and I really liked it. She said, when you have somebody that you know, because we all know who's really saying they're going to do it and who's really not. But when you know that they're genuinely, meaning that as soon as they do have that income that they will, and even if they've talked to somebody, they're like, I have somebody that wants to purchase Plexus now. Go ahead and do this for them. Offer for that person. So if Stephanie says, I want to sign up, but I can't. Right now, I need money, but I know that Elizabeth wants to buy product. Send Elizabeth to me. I'll say, send Elizabeth to me, and I'm going to have her started so that we know you have some guaranteed customers. And as soon as you have the income and to purchase your welcome pack and to start, we will call customer service and we'll have Elizabeth switch to your account. You can do that. Now, you cannot do that with ambassadors. There's a 6-month waiting period on ambassadors. So if you signed up under Judy Bludy's online because you found Plexus through some random person and you didn't have a personal connection, if you said to corporate, I don't want to be on Judy's team anymore, I want to be on Jen's team, you have to wait 6 months to be changed over because they don't want just to move people willy-nilly as ambassadors. But as a customer, especially the sponsoring ambassador, I can move Elizabeth back over to Stephanie. Well, but let's say it takes Stephanie 3 months to get the money, the extra money. If she sent me 5 customers along the way, I'm going to tell Stephanie, guess what? You have 5 customers. Now your product is paid for every month. with the commission that you'll be making off those 5 customers, as soon as you sign up, that's instantly hers. That's a great way to kind of help somebody, motivate them along the way. And then you know that they're validated in sending business, when they're sending business to you, that they're serious about growing a team.
But Jen, that seems really odd that you would take all these customers that you're making money on and then just give them to another ambassador. So why would you do that?
Well, I would say that as the sponsoring ambassador, you always are going to benefit from the business beneath you, that's growing underneath you. As an ambassador, you make 5% off of your level 1's PV, an override every month. The other thing is, and Phil and I feel very strongly about this, is that our mantra and motto for our business and in our life is that if we help enough other people get what they want, we're going to get what we want along the way. We don't need to stress or worry about it, right?
Sure.
So it's all good. This one we hear a lot, that the products don't always work, right? And this is what I say, the products don't always work for everyone the same way, but they can work in some way for everyone. We need to make sure that we're keeping our focus and our education for our customers and ambassadors wide enough so that the products don't always work for everyone the same way, but they can work in some way for everyone. And I think we can all agree that that is true. And that just goes back to educating and helping people understand, yeah, maybe I haven't had the weight loss testimony that some of the people on our team have had, like Shannon Patterson, who's lost 100 pounds, but I can definitely tell you that my life is better because of the better sleep that I get, that energy, that I don't have the horrific PMS that I used to have.
Hallelujah.
Amen to that one, right? Over and over and over for my children. You're not yelling, Mommy. Yes. The only reason my business will stop working is when I stop working my business. And that's true. And that sometimes is hard. I've had a lot of conversations with people that are like, I don't know what happened to my team. Well, I do. What happened? Were you posting? Are you hosting? Are you doing meetings? Are you out there sharing on a regular basis? I think we can get really stuck if we have a personal setback with our health. If we, after Christmas, oh, I gained 5 pounds, I can't represent Plexus anymore. That's not true. You certainly can. There are still enough benefits. Maybe you would have gained 10 pounds if you hadn't been on Plexus. Maybe you would have gained 20 pounds, like you said, or 40 pounds. It's all relative, and focus on the positive. We don't ever want to present things in a light where we would be misconstruing the truth, but we certainly can be real with people and say, look, no, I did gain 5 pounds, but I would have gained this. Or I was able to work a double, and I was able to have energy, or I'm going through this incredibly stressful situation, and I know I would have crumbled, and I didn't. We hear that a lot. So the only reason business stops working is when you stop working your business. I know Phil wanted to talk about this. The perks really are worth the hard stuff day to day.
Yeah, again, sitting, and we've told the story last night, sitting there in the financial situation that we were, I work full time and I still do. But with Jen's income gone, and she wanted to be home with the kids, which was what I wanted as well. In faith, I said, yeah, we'll make it work. But there was a huge hole there. And sitting here, it's surreal to be standing in this room. It is surreal. And be on the beach with our kids in Hawaii. It's surreal to sit there and drive a new car that is essentially paid for and not struggle or think about how we're going to make this car payment. It's surreal to sit there and say, I didn't have the $144 so the nickels to scratch together to buy this product, but we stepped out in faith. And we've seen that first $650 check increase 20-fold in about a year.
No, it was, and I know that y'all can relate to this, but like if a towel gets ripped in the dish in the dryer and it's got bleach spots on it, like this is a stupid example and yet it's a real one. I don't have to worry about going and buying buying a new set of towels anymore, because those kinds of things I had to like kind of put over on the side and go, well, maybe if I go to Walmart or Target, I can slip this into the grocery bill. Maybe I can't this week or this month. We had a sink that was just like the motor on the dish disposal had broken. And I remember my first, that first full month of a check, it was like, we can go to Home Depot and pick out a brand new sink. I was like so crazy excited that we could just go do that. Just go buy a sink. There's nothing fancy about a sink, but it was something that I dealt with every day that I was like, there's a new freedom. We got our kids all new beds the third month into Plexus because all of them were on borrowed mattresses that had been handed down,
mattresses.
nasty. Nobody was sleeping good. It was like, oh my gosh. And it was probably, we got a good deal on them. I think we spent $1,200 on mattresses, $1,500. But it was like, we've had to wait for this, and yet it was a freedom. So it wasn't going from not having $144 to having this like extravagant life where I feel very blessed to get to do all those things, because we do. But there was so many little steps along the way that there wasn't in the middle of the night waking up going, okay, how are we going to take care of this? How are we going to pay this? We got to leverage. We can pay this month, but then next month, I don't know how we're going to do that. And it's worth all of the hard. It's worth all of the hard. It's worth the waiting. It's worth feeling discouraged. It's worth feeling alone and that you're the only one working on in your whole entire team. It is worth it. I tell my team all the time, I'll tell you all this, you've probably heard me say it. Most people are not going to do what it takes to go where you want to go. Most people won't. They'll quit before. They're going to be back up here where we talked about disappointing. They're going to say they're in it with you, but they don't have what it takes to do it day in and day out. And I promise you they will. I mean, I promise you, if you stick with it, it will be worth it. And this just leads to my little final point. Being real and vulnerable is what people like best. Magnetic is what draws people in. They want to see you struggle, and they want to see you through the struggle as well as the victory. And so celebrate your imperfection, right? I was talking to somebody yesterday about doing videos and saying, no, I can't. I hate seeing myself on video. I hate it. I hate having my picture taken, y'all. But I've gotten to a point where it's not about me, and it's not about my vanity of whether or not I want my picture or what I look like and my makeup. And y'all saw me even at breakfast joking about that, struggling with my hair. It's something that I could be so much worse, and I will be for you one of these days.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it just to take you out. But there is something that people can relate to you, and if you're not the picture perfect, just like Maria said, when you walk into Super Saturday and not everybody was the skinny, mini, perfect little whatever you had imaged, Barbie in your mind of what you think everybody's going to look like or what you need to be to fit the mold to have this work. You be you, and that's what will draw people in. That's what will sell Plexus, because it comes from your heart and it's genuine
The
and real.
one common denominator of anyone that's had success, the one thing, because I'm very big on that, I want to find those things and patterns with my OCD. The one common trait is passion. That's it. That's the one thing that unites every single person that we met in Hawaii who's a jewel, is their passion, is unwavering. And so if you don't have it, get it. And in the lowest of our lowest times, that passion was unwavering, and we were going forward no matter what, because we were so passionate about the results that we saw, the lives that we were seeing changed, that fueled us in the toughest times.
Yes. Okay, that's what I got for the meat. You were going to do.
Yeah, so the last thing, two things I'm going to finish up on. First of all, I want to give you a great job. Very good job. Did y'all get something I saw some good notes. Is that something y'all can take and some good meat you can use? Yes.
And y'all know, I hope you guys know by now, even if you're not on our team, please know that we are available to you.
Yeah.
We cannot know what you need from us until you let us know what you need. So we try to, I really do take you before the Lord on a daily basis, and I ask him what I need to share, and things are often on my heart. So I try to listen and be obedient to that, but then there are other things that come up, but please know that we are available and to help and take advantage of the chat groups. Y'all are doing an awesome job of facilitating on those chat groups that we have going on. Access your accountability partner. If you don't have one, we'll get you hooked up.
So 2 topics, and we'll wrap this meeting. The first is something that we shared last night. I want to reiterate again for our training video and for those of you here. And that is the way that you can share Plexus with someone and using this new method of the 4 ways you can join Plexus. So I'll do that here right now so that everyone can see it, and we'll have it recorded. But I think it's a great way to do it because it takes away that that burden of I want to sell it. So the 4 ways you can join Plexus. Stephanie, you're interested in joining. Thanks so much. There's 4 ways you can do it. The first is the most expensive way, and that's as a retail customer. I'd love to have you. It's the most expensive pricing, but certainly it's a way that you can do it. That's the first way you can join Plexus as a retail customer. The second is preferred, and I would prefer that you do it that way because you save money. The way that you save money is that Plexus will actually reduce it by 10%. The caveat is that you get what's called an auto ship, and your products are going to be shipped to you every 30 days, so you don't even have to think about it. They're just going to bill your credit card, and they'll be shipped to you. The cool thing is, whether you're retail or preferred, you still get that 60-day money-back guarantee on your 30-day product, and that's a rolling 60 days. So that's the second way. The third way, Stephanie, it might be the best way, is you said that you've got family that might be interested in getting products, some couple other people in your household. So if you've got 2 or 3 people that might be ordering product, the third way to join Plexus is a wholesale ambassador. Much like having a Costco membership, you're able to get the products at an even lower discounted price than preferred pricing. You have the auto ship on. The minimum caveat is from Plexus is that you're going to do $100 worth of products. And as we talked about, you're probably going to do at least $100 of products just yourself from the products you order for your family. The cool thing about wholesale pricing, that third way, is that on the products that you sell, you're actually going to earn commission back for those products. And then the last way is if you want to be someone like me who shares this on Facebook and people that we come in contact with, and that's being an ambassador who actually shares Plexus for income. I can tell you that a lot of people do that, and they're able to take care of a car payment, $300 to $500 a month. And if you dream really big and you want to make this a business that can change your life, there are people that I know personally that have quit jobs, quit careers, and are making tens of thousands of dollars a month as a wholesale ambassador who shares the product with everyone else. So that's the 4 ways that you can join Plexus. Which one sounds like the one you want to do today?
And use the catalog. Use the catalog if you need a tangible to remind you, because it's got the retail, preferred, and wholesale. And then you can say the 4th option's not in here, and maybe you then can pull from the middle of the book.
I don't want to brag, but that's the 2nd time I've done that, and that was
You were
pretty smooth.
awesome.
I'm just saying.
But the
That's how
bottom
easy
line
it is if you break it
best.
down, because why do we split? So there's really wholesale pricing, right? But the reason we split it between 3 and 4 is that you take that pressure off from someone saying, well, I don't want to have to sell it. You don't have to.
You open a whole new opportunity.
You open that you can just buy it for yourself. And that also helps you, because you're not going to sit there and try and spend a lot of time building a business with that person who doesn't want to build a business. So you sit there like, well, I got a team of 10 people and only 7 of them
Are doing
are
anything.
doing
beyond their
anything. Not,
$100,
well,
right?
if you qualify them up front, no, they only want to buy it for themselves, then you're not going to waste that time. You can work on those folks that say, I want to build this business, and really work with them.
Awesome.
Cool. Any questions on that? Okay. Glad I nailed it on the first take, so we have to record this again. Just saying.
Touch on taxes.
Okay. The last topic we'll touch on is taxes. Okay. A couple of things. Let me preface, I am not a tax expert or a tax professional. My legal advice
We do have one in here.
would not be construed as otherwise. Legalese. There are different ways that you can protect yourself from having to pay too much in taxes. Let me talk to you first of all and foremost in your back office, because Plexus is not collecting taxes on your behalf and sending them to the government. It is very prudent and wise, if you are not so diligent, to put at least 20 to 30% of your gross income in the Plexus account,
The e-wallet.
the e-wallet. And you can designate that and put the percentage, and that way it's in a holding account in your e-wallet that you can use at tax time, so that when you get your 1099 and you do your taxes, if there's income that you owe, you can just take it straight from your e-wallet and send it to Uncle Sam, okay? The other thing that you can do if you're so diligent is you can actually put a little bit more of that percentage back, and you can use that e-wallet to buy products from time to time, or use it to send to another ambassador to buy products. It's a great tool to use if you're not good about having a savings and moving money from a checking to a savings. I'm not good at that, so I use the e-wallet.
And contests, like Phil said, if you want to have a contest for your team, but you don't have extra income that you're sitting around to go buy a $50 gift card somewhere, you can certainly say, next month, once we have the 15th for this, whatever contest you're running for your team, I'm going to give 2 $25 e-wallets to team members.
Right.
It's a really easy way to use your business to work for you in incentives.
We're going to basically end the video here now, and those of you can reach out individually and we can share some things. But I want to, and we'll talk more about this after I close the lid, but I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank Springfield for hosting us. Everyone have a great month of January, and
Go Plexus!
all right, everybody, thank you.